So hi guys, welcome to the MMA UK BJJ show. So my name's Stoomboy as always. So obviously first thing to say is obviously a happy new year to everybody. So I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas and a great new year. I'd say it was a bit strange obviously with lockdown and stuff like that. So but hopefully everybody managed to make the most of it, spend as much time with their families, friends and things like that over the festive period. So takes us on to our guest today. I mean, the guest today, we have Diane, Mum Diane, two sons, Jevon and Cody, the Leighton family. So I first met these guys, I believe, now they might correct me here, but I came down for a seminar. I think it was probably before that I'd met you, but I know I'd been down a couple of times for a seminar. Obviously, it came down for, I think it was Marco Cagna. We came down for a seminar with him, and I believe there was another seminar. So I've managed to spend, obviously, some time with these guys on the mats. Obviously, Mum Diane obviously does some jiu-jitsu as well, which obviously done jiu-jitsu because obviously the kids were doing it. So, and then obviously the kids, Jevon and Cody. We're going to hear about the competition experience now. Competition experience, we've spoke to a lot of people about competition experience, but obviously being young kids, having the extensive competition experience that they have, and you're going to hear about some of their medals and some of their experiences and stuff like that, is an absolute phenomenal experiences that they have. I mean, even if they were to stop doing jiu-jitsu now, just doing some of the stuff that they've done and telling people about it in the future is just a wonderful thing. So, but obviously these guys are going to continue doing what they're doing, and hopefully we're going to see a couple of Leighton world champions, adult world champions in the future as well. So very excited about that. So yeah, Diane, Jevon and Cody, welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good. Very good, thank you.
Not bad yourself?
Yeah, listen, I'm very well, considering all things considering. So yeah, take us on to the first thing then, obviously the lockdown. So we'll start with you then, Diane. So I mean, how's the lockdown been treating you guys down in Berwick?
We've been through, I think we're on to the third one now. Basically, the first one was great with the weather. We could get out in the garden, we borrowed mats from the gym, we could train, we did the Zoom classes, we could practice. The second one, things eased up. We got into the gym a little bit, to do bits and pieces. The kids Cody managed to get into a kids class. They got that started running again, and then it just got shut down again. So we're back to drilling in the living room.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, obviously, we're the same. I mean, we got shut down in March. We got reopened in, I believe, October. We got shut down again in December or November, I think it was. Yeah. And then they let us train a week or so in December, and then that's us shut down again. So again, yeah, very, very similar. I mean, we've this is the third time that we've been shut down, and there doesn't seem to be an end to it at the moment.
No, it seems to be ongoing.
Yeah. And then what about you, Jevon? Because I know you're away to university now as well. So I mean, obviously we did talk before. Obviously you have found a gym that you're training at. I mean, what's your training been like over the last kind of period of time as well then?
Obviously not as much as I'd want. Obviously, as my mum was saying, we got to train in the garden when it was nice weather during that first lockdown. It was good just getting the mats out most days, keeping them moving, flowing them. Then when I moved down to university, I got a couple weeks training in when the gyms were open, just by yourself, getting taught in person. It was just with a dummy. A couple other guys there sort of formed a little bubble. But training there was good. It's a MMA gym down there, so a lot of no-gi, a lot of scraps, which is quite good.
Yeah.
And then once I found the gym, I got settled. We had that November lockdown. I couldn't train for a while, and I've came back up here, and I've been able to drill solo with the gi, but just not the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, as I said, I know whenever I visited you guys, I mean, that was the one thing that you always wanted to do. You always wanted to be on the mat, rolling. And obviously, Thiago, certainly down at the TF team, had a very big kind of kids class. And there was a lot of absolute killers, kids on the mat that they wanted to roll with everybody. I said, I remember obviously rolling with both of you guys, obviously yourself, Jevon and Cody as well, and you absolutely loved being on the mat. So obviously any time away at the moment is definitely a horrible time then.
Yeah, it is. It's not nice being away from the mat. I'm just sort of looking forward to the time when go back to normal, we can get on the mats, training again, competitions opening back up. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about yourself, Cody?
I've been training with my mum a lot during lockdown, seeing back the good weather in the first lockdown, just getting outside and training when it was nice and sunny. But we managed to make a dummy out of hoodies and towels to train with.
Yeah.
These two, my mum and my brother were training with.
Yeah. So you missing the kids' classes and things like that?
Yeah, usually a lot of fun to just train with other kids.
Yeah.
And I miss them a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I say, fingers crossed. I mean, hopefully it's not going to be too much longer. I mean, they're talking about the vaccine and stuff like that, potentially going to have that rolled out for, I believe, April or May time in Scotland. What do you guys fall under? Do you guys fall under, obviously being Berwick, do you fall under Scottish rules or English rules, or is it a bit of both?
English rules, really.
Yeah.
Which is good at some points when Scotland was locked down more, but bad at points when it got taken a bit too far and people were going a bit crazy with the newfound freedom, and now we're back here.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the lockdown, I know that Scotland, I mean, potentially April, May time. I think England's potentially the same for the vaccine as well. So I know they're getting the kind of over 70s out the way first, people with health conditions and so on, and then working their way down. So if the vaccine comes, potentially, I mean, it could hit us by maybe the summertime, and then we can get back to some kind of training. Competitions, I know, is a big thing for you guys, because as you, certainly Cody and Jevon, have done absolutely wonderful things in competitions. So Cody, we'll start with you then. So I mean, tell us some of the competition experiences you've had.
It's just really good to step on the mats, knowing that you've got your coach, your family, your opponent's coach and family watching you. And it's just a really good experience to spar with someone that you've never trained with, don't know them at all, to see how much you've trained and how good you are.
And do you get nervous at all when you're about to step on the mat?
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. It's easy to get butterflies in your stomach. You just got to get into the moment.
Yeah. But you love it. I mean, you love competing. I mean, as I said, anytime we see pictures of you all the time, obviously. In fact, all three of you kind of post whenever, let's say, for instance, Cody, you're at a competition, then obviously Mum will put pictures of you, Jevon will put pictures of you. You'll all kind of support each other 100%. And then obviously you mentioned about obviously the team as well, having the team behind you. So is that important to have that support behind you?
Yeah, you've got everybody trying to help you while you're fighting. I can hear my brother's voice and my mum's voice. I can hear my coaches, my friends' voices, just trying to help me in my fights.
Yeah. Nice one. And what kind of competitions then for you? What's been your favourite competition that you've won?
It was probably the Europeans in 2016. I'd done a lot of triangles, but the last kid just gave me a really hard time, kept on passing guard. So I had to go away from the triangles and put an A camera.
Yeah, nice. So triangles, is that your favourite submission then?
Yeah, I like to use triangles from a lot of positions: guard, mount, side control.
Nice. And then Jevon, yourself then. So what about you then in regards to competition? I mean, what's your feeling then when you step on the mats?
Step on the mat, it's the adrenaline rush. That's the reason I compete. Just craving that sort of rush, the shaking of the hands. There's all eyes, especially with the divisions that I was fighting before lockdown. The juvenile 2 open weights, basically the biggest division that these kids competitions have. Right on in the morning, so all eyes are on you on the mat. It's just you competing, so that there's the respect that everybody's watching you. That's what I like, that adrenaline of just shaking hands and just seeing who's the best.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I said I absolutely love it. I mean, whenever I go and compete, I'm always the smallest person there, but I mean, I just love it. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't get nervous because, I mean, you've done all the hard work in the gym. So this competition, or this maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights or whatever you're about to have, this is the fun part. The training's always the hardest part. I mean, especially competition, as you probably know, and the competition is the easy part. So this is where you get to go out and just enjoy yourself. So, I mean, is that something that you feel as well?
Yeah, I've had the times where I've been nervous stepping on the mats, but I'm past that stage. I just go on looking forward to it. If it's a bigger competition, you obviously get those 1 or 2 little butterflies. If it's sort of you're competing kids world, kids Europeans, they always get those little butterflies. But if it's a bit of a smaller competition, it's just nice to go in and test yourself against these other athletes that put themselves on the mats, just to see who's the best, really.
Certainly. And then, when are you now in the adult division? Or are you still in juveniles at the moment?
I moved up to adult division. I turned 18 in July just passed, but I was competing in a couple adult divisions when I was 16, 17.
I remember that,
Yeah, sort of your BJJ 24/7s, those kind of ones. Not putting myself up in the highest sort of the elite BJJ world. I wouldn't stick myself in the adult division there. That's pretty suicidal. But the BJJ 24/7, those sort of smaller, more local competitions, I always put myself in the adults because I knew comfortably that I could do the kids division, well, the juvenile division. Even if I didn't win, I would have a couple fights that were pretty easy to go through. So even if I lose first fight adult division, it's better than clearing through a juvenile division with no testing. You know, you need that to know where you are.
Definitely. And then what about weight division? What weight division are you in, Jevon?
If I'm fighting big competition, I like to cut to under 75 kg. But if it's a bit of a smaller competition, I don't like to weight cut that much. I really hate weight cuts, so then I'll compete. I'll really compete at under 80 kgs in the smaller competitions. But if it's one of the big ones, always cut down, try and be the biggest guy in that division.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, under 70, well, it'll be under what, 76 is a massive division. A massive division. I mean, anything, I think, 70 kilos, 76, 82 seems to be in the adult division anyway, in the bigger comps, the most stacked divisions. I mean, you go to the Europeans as an adult, you've maybe got 120 people in your division at under 76 kilo. So it's a big weight division. So, and it's, I mean, that 75, 76, is that something? Because obviously 18, you're still growing. You'll still be growing, you'll still be getting bigger and things like that. So, I mean, is that the ideal weight for you, or would you maybe look at the under 82 division?
I'd like to see, because once I hit the point where I've stopped growing properly, then I'll decide and see how tall am I, what strengths have I got going into competition. If I'm one of the shorter ones, I sort of want to be going in with more power. I want to be try to be the biggest in my division. But if I'm shorter in the under 82 division, try and cut. I'd maybe do that for not an easier competition, but a less demanding. It's not. I've put so much money towards this. I've trained for months. If it's a bit more of a relaxed competition, I'll go to the under 82s. Stay relaxed. I just see. I'm at that age where I can float about the weight divisions to find out where I want to be.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously try your arm at some of maybe the local competitions, see how you get on, and then that kind of gives you a kind of gauge of where you're going to be going forward.
Yeah.
So, and then in regards to you, then competition experience. I mean, as I say, yours especially. I mean, because obviously you've been doing it a bit longer. Your competition experience is unbelievable. So again, obviously, tell us some of the highlights of your kind of jiu-jitsu competition experience.
Some highlights. Even though I didn't win these ones, I competed at the Pans in California twice, got 2 silvers. I competed at Naga in Germany and got silvers in both gi and no gi. Losing to some really good guys, especially in Naga. I was a grey belt competing against green belts.
Yeah.
But I think the highlight's got to be probably winning the Junior Worlds under the Elite BJJ events. That was good. I think I won that one twice. I think my favorite one was, I won one by points, which I wasn't so happy with. But the other time I won the Worlds, I got footlocks in all my divisions, so I was pretty happy with that result.
Nice. So world champions. I mean, we love world champions. I mean, that's what I said. I mean, if you were to stop competing now and never compete again, I mean, just to know that. Do you know what I mean? You'd competed at the Worlds and even won medals at Worlds, and obviously won medals at Pan Ams and things like that. I mean, it's always great to tell people that. I know that my son, when he, I think he was about 16, and at one point he was the UK #1 junior in his division.
I got that one 2019.
Yeah, so he was, and to turn around and say, and especially as a parent, Diane, you'll be with me on this, to say that, look, my kid's the #1, especially when you go to schools and they talk about, oh, my kid is good at this, or my kid's good at spelling. You're like, well, listen, my kid can beat your kid up, no problem at all. So my kid's currently #1 in the whole of the UK. So and then I mean, TJ, as I said again, the UK champion. He kind of turned 18, so he got moved into the adult division very, very quickly. So, but again, he kind of picked up where he left off. I mean, I remember TJ's first adult competition. He had 12 fights. I think he'd won 11 of them, or he'd won 10 of them. And he lost 2. The 2 that he lost, one was, both of them are in the final. One was, I believe, the absolute final of the no-gi, and one was the no-gi. But gi division, gi absolute, he won both of them. So, definitely looking forward to seeing what you're going to do, Jevon, in the adult competition. I mean, you, I believe, obviously, with Thiago, having Thiago as a coach and things like that, and obviously the setup that you guys have got down there as well, is unbelievable. I mean, Thiago is one of the guys I love. Anytime I see Thiago and speaking to Thiago and stuff like that, obviously love chatting with him, and he's very competition focused as well, or he was. I remember he used to post a lot of competition stuff, but now he's posting pictures or videos of him doing like football coaching and things like that. So not much jiu-jitsu at the moment, but I'd say that'll come back, I'm pretty sure. So and then Diane, obviously you've not done a competition yet, Diane.
No, I'm just usually the chauffeur for the kids and the one that gets the nerves, and so it's I haven't done anything yet. So I'll never say never.
Yeah. I mean, it's maybe one day. Maybe one day, as I say, you've got European champions and world champions for the kids. So maybe one day we'll see yourself. As I say, the competition's great. I mean, I'd say that it's enjoyable. I mean, the kids will obviously love it as well. It's and then, as I say, but it's definitely an enjoyable thing. So I mean, if you definitely do it, Diane, as I said, we'll all be 100% behind you. So
thank you.
And definitely looking forward to it. So so then so where did it start then? So who was the first one to get into jiu-jitsu?
It was Jevon. First one to get into jiu-jitsu.
I was the first to get into it. A funny story about it. My best friend from school for years, his dad owned the sort of container area, like a trading estate where Thiago first set up the TF gym. Mm-hmm. And my mate was like, you should come along, you should try it. I was thinking, I don't know. I'd been to like karate and taekwondo, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Never even tried it. Just sat at the side and didn't bother.
Yeah.
But he dragged me along one day, and I thought, this is quite fun. You know, it's not like this sort of fakey martial art. This is like actual stuff. This is real, useful stuff in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then after about a year and a half, I started thinking about maybe I want to go more regularly instead of once, twice a week, start picking it up. I got invited to one of the adults classes, and from that session, I just got beaten by all the adults. I must have been at 13, 14, and I just thought, yeah, this is quite fun. I think I'll keep doing this.
Yeah. So what was it? What was it you were into then? So obviously, if it wasn't kind of taekwondo or karate or jiu-jitsu, so what was your kind of hobbies at that time?
We both were a part of a swim club in Eyemouth, the town just across the border. Did swimming for years, and I liked it, but I didn't like it that much. It was just a sport to do to try and keep healthy. It was something I didn't like football. Wasn't big enough for rugby, so I did swimming, and then eventually when I found jiu-jitsu, after about a year, 2 years of that, I packed in the swimming and just focused purely on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, definitely. Swimming, does that give you any benefits in regards to your jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, because obviously swimming, it's got a lot of muscular endurance going on with that. So I'm sure I should keep swimming more often, especially when I start getting back into competitions. Helps your lungs, your cardiovascular system. You keep going longer. You don't get gassed as quick. Muscles don't get tired. I think that swimming's definitely beneficial for jiu-jitsu. More than running, I'd say. I hate running. Swimming's much easier.
Listen, I'll definitely need to take up swimming then, because as I say, being an old person, my muscles are always sore. So I'll definitely need to get up some swimming in some way. So and then Cody, what about you then? So how did it all begin for yourself?
Like Jevon said, he was the first to start, so I started watching him as he progressed. Then one day I just went into a session, my first ever session. I was 5 years old, and I just fell in love with the sport. And my current best friend was training it as well, and so we both stuck together. Then he left for football, so then I was just going around and picking up, going in to try and fight with everyone to see how I could get better. And then I'm now starting to do the adults a bit more. I really want to push myself to be the best that I could be.
I mean, I always remember when I came down, because even though I'm a small guy, I'm still around about 100 kilos, and I always remember, Cody, you wanted to roll with me, like, come on, let's roll, and absolute no fear whatsoever. Because I think, what do you weigh, Cody? What's your weight?
I'm about 45 kilos for that.
Yeah. So probably about 40, 45 kilos then, and here's me more than double your weight, and you didn't care. You were like, yeah, let's go, come on, let's do it. So I always loved that. Always loved that about you. So and then Diane, what about you then? So when did it begin for you?
It began for me, we were on holiday and the kids were wandering around and they just so happened to find a gym with some mats in it, and they decided that they would start just sort of rolling around, and then Jevon needed somebody to act so he could do cartwheel passes and things over. Cody was a bit too small, so it was like, here Mum, just lie down.
Right.
So I lay down and him and then Cody were doing things, and I thought, well, maybe I could do it. And I came back from holiday, that was in October, and I waited a couple of months. I plucked up the courage. It took me 2 months, not because of anybody at the gym or Thiago or anything like that, just my insecurities. And I spoke to Camilla and I said, look, I'd really like to just go onto the mat and try, but I don't want people to know that I'm going to do it, because then that puts pressure on me. So I snuck in one night, grabbed a gi off her, went down onto the mat, and other than the odd injury, I've not really stopped. When I can train, I do train.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's been well, it would have been, if we hadn't had a lockdown, it would have been 2 full years.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's. I mean, it's good as there again. Obviously, I seen you when I came down as well, and you always seem to enjoy it. Not just as a parent, but being on the mats as well. So you always seem to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's great. Obviously, you started because you do see a lot of people when they come in with their kids and for kids classes and things like that. All the parents are usually at the side, so. So it's great that obviously being a parent that you've obviously managed to get onto the mat, not just for you, but obviously helping the kids out as well. When, as you mentioned about,
yeah, certainly through the lockdown, I'm so grateful that I did start it, because it did mean that I could help them both.
Yeah, definitely. So, so what about you, Jevon? How long have you been training now? Then full.
He was 5, so he was coming up 7 years, so he must be
About 8.
7.5.
7.5, 8 years, I think now. Nearly a decade.
Yeah, no, that's longer than most people. So,
Yeah.
not longer than most people. So, and then you are blue belt now. Blue belt. Are you any tabs on the blue belt, or is it just a straight blue belt at the moment?
Yeah, I've got one stripe on my blue belt. I've had it for a while. I got my blue belt just well. In about I turned 16 July, and in the May I got my blue belt just before the British Open. And I've been on my blue belt for a couple of years now, but competing, I'm quite happy to stay as blue belt, because now I've hit adult, it's a completely different world than juvenile blue belt. It's so much tougher. The guys I compete against them, then I got that adult strength, which is the one big thing that I notice is different.
Old man strength, it's called. Old man strength. So definitely. Now it's good. I mean, blue belt's good. I mean, blue belt gives you the chance, as you said, to build up your experience, to then take it into your purple, brown, and black belt, and so on. So it gives you that experience. It lets you, especially being so young, coming in at 18, obviously coming in at the lower end of the age group. I mean, you've got what, if you stick around all the way to the Masters, you've got 12, 13 years minimum to then ply your trade throughout the different belts. So so blue belt's definitely a fantastic belt for that. I mean, blue belt, as you know, you could come in against new blue belt, somebody that's maybe only been doing it for a year or so, or you can come in against guys who have been a blue belt for 5 or 6 years or whatever. So it's different levels of experience in blue belt, as you know. So
I've had it before. I did a competition, and first round I got put up against the eventual winner. Nearly tapped, and I was asking him. He tapped me in the end, and I was asking him after. I was like, "How long have you been training?" He was going, "Oh, I've been a blue belt for about 10 years now." I was just thinking, "Whoa."
Yeah, that happens, man. It happens. I mean, especially now. I mean, when you talk about to people just now and say, "Well, how long have I been a blue belt?" and did you? I mean, you maybe been a blue belt for 5 years up to this point, but then you think about the last kind of 9 months to a year, we've had a lockdown, so you're including that in there as well. So but 10 years. I mean, you can have, as you know, you can have people that have been training forever coming in. So. And then Cody, what about yourself then? What belt are you on at the moment?
I'm on a yellow and white belt with 3 grades.
Right.
When you reach this belt, you have more challenges and competitions, because not that many kids my age will get to it. But kids that are more grown up will probably more likely to get to it. So you put with people like them, which will give you a lot more of a disadvantage, but it's a good challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the kids' belt? So what's your next belt after your belt at the moment?
It should be just a solid yellow belt.
Right. So so solid yellow belt. The kids' belts, as I said, it's been a while since my daughter used to do jiu-jitsu, but she stopped it very, very quickly. She wanted to do dancing, so we let her do some dancing, but she's going to get back into it. So what's the belt system? How does the kids' belt system work?
So you start off with a white belt, then you'll go to grey and white, then just solid grey, then grey and black, and you'll continue up through yellow, orange, then green, which is your final kids belt.
Mhm.
Which, if you're still like 14, you're going to be on that for quite a while.
Yeah. And then what about blue belt? I mean, I know that some gyms will maybe promote like blue belt 15-year-olds. Some will be 16, 17, 18. So how does it work for you guys down under Thiago? Or is it just whenever Thiago feels that you're ready, that's when you'll get it, regardless of age?
I got my blue belt a couple months before I turned 16, because 16 is sort of the general point where you start getting into the adult belts, you start getting juvenile, because you don't get the kids coloured belts in juvenile competition, it's just white or blue. I got mine a couple months early, and I know a few other guys in the gym around about my age got theirs a month, 2, 3 months early. Some got it as they turned 16, because obviously with IBJJF rules, once you get to a coloured kids belt, you can't then get put onto a white juvenile. You have to be graded to blue.
Yeah.
So the latest people get graded is on the birthday or a couple days after, but it's been known for a couple months early if Thiago feels that we're ready, if you're ready competition-wise. Like I got mine that couple days, maybe a week before I competed at the British Open. Got beaten thoroughly, but yeah, it was a good. It was better than if I competed still at what I think I was at orange belt. If I still fought at that orange belt, I probably would have won quite easy. But getting that blue belt, going in at 15, was a completely different experience, which is what you need really.
Definitely. And then Diane, I know that you're still a white belt at the moment, but you're working your way. You're going to get your blue belt eventually. It's going to come.
I will hopefully eventually. I've got 3 stripes, so we'll just have to hope that lockdown vanishes and I get a chance to do some more training. And if and when Thiago feels it's deserved, then hopefully I'll get it. But time will tell.
Listen, it'll come, Diane. It'll definitely come. So. And what's dinner like in the Leighton house then? Because obviously I remember talking to a family before, and they always talked about saying that, well, when we're at the dinner table, all we're talking about is jiu-jitsu, and like if it's a Sunday dinner, they'll maybe after dinner there'll be family members and doing different moves in the living room and stuff like that. I mean, what's a typical dinner like in the Leighton household?
It's not really jiu-jitsu related. I mean, it probably comes up at some point in conversation, but it's usually people sort of sitting. A lot of times we can't all eat together, just because, well, now Jevon's away, but Cody's maybe, like when the gym's open, if Cody's got a quiz class, then he's maybe away training. Malcolm and I are maybe eating together. Cody sometimes eats at 2 nights a week, eats at his Gaga's house. So we sort of like come and go. It's a bit fluid, as we would say.
Yeah. And then what about Dad then? So you're not managed to get Dad on the mats at all?
No, Dad is actually a PGA golf professional.
Right. Okay.
So no, he doesn't. He spectates. He drives. When he could, he'll hopefully be able to do a wee bit more now. But a lot of the times it was just me doing the driving. Leave work at 4:30, get in the car at 5 o'clock, drive the kids down to Wolverhampton, Coventry, wherever we were going, put them to bed and start the weekend from the Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And then back late on the Sunday night and go back to work.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people, they always, whenever you go to competitions, you always see like whether it be kids or adults or whoever doing the competition. But what people forget as well is the people in the background, whether it be the mums or the dads or girlfriend, boyfriend, or whoever's came down with you. So there's always somebody in the background, obviously there, cheering you on, or as you said, doing the drive-in and booking hotels, booking flights, and all this stuff, making sure you're eating properly. And so there's always somebody in the background. So yeah, definitely hats off to you, Diane, because that's a tough job in itself. So
yeah, and you've got sort of like 2 of them doing it as well, and you're trying to keep track of what they're both doing and what both their weights are doing. And well, Jevon not so much now because he's an adult, but beforehand you were trying to sort of watch weights and watching timescales for any changes and the administration side.
And watching as well, the big thing as well, I mean, anybody that's ever been to a competition, especially the bigger competition, I mean, you see it at the Euros, they'll maybe tell you, the Europeans over in Portugal, they'll tell you, right, you're on at 12 p.m. So everybody gets over there ready to go on at 12 p.m. and you're never on at 12 p.m. Never at all. I mean, I don't think I've ever been in an IBJJF comp. I've never been on at the time they said that I was going to be on it. It's always like an hour later. Unless you're fortunate to be one of the first people in the morning, then chances are your division's going to go fine. But then after lunchtime and things like that, the time scales are a bit of a nightmare. So for you having to watch two different divisions and making sure that you've got both divisions, the times and so on, it can be a difficult thing as well.
It can. When you're down at Wolverhampton at the Elite BJJ competition, they've got the bullpen, so you're listening for their divisions being called. You're watching which bullpen is to go into.
Yeah.
You're then listening for their names as well, because if they're in the zone and trying to get themselves sorted, they could miss it easily. So yeah, it's a lot of running around. It's usually quite a tiring weekend, but very, very worthwhile.
Definitely. And then what visions then? So what's your visions for the future? I mean, we'll start with you, Cody, then. So where do you see yourself?
I'm really hoping to maybe join the MMA or UFC and to continue my fighting progress.
Right.
I'm also doing Muay Thai, which is boxing, kickboxing, to boost my martial arts. So I hope that one day I will manage to achieve my goal.
So that's you. So you want to get yourself into MMA then?
MMA or UFC.
Yeah. And then what about yourself then, Jevon? So what's your kind of visions? Where do you see yourself?
I'm hoping in 5 to 10 years' time that I'll be competing in top IBJJF competitions. My brother wants to focus more on MMA. I'm more focused on just the jiu-jitsu side of things. Although saying that, now I train out of DNA MMA down in York. Being at an MMA gym, it might spark my interest at some point. But at this point, jiu-jitsu's the goal. I want to get my name on the list of world champions, IBJJF, start to get onto some paid fights. Being at university, once I finish that, or even while I'm there, I can always make some money doing some paid fights. I've done a super fight before, got some money from that, which was nice. Bit of pocket money back at 15. But the goal is start to get those big competitions, Abu Dhabi, any invitationals, your EBIs, that sort of stuff. Eventually try out the ADCC, I think, in the end.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the UK, especially. I mean, UK, some of the kids that are coming through, and I mean, I remember obviously when obviously meeting you guys and meeting obviously a few other kids. You had people like Rihanna Parker, you had Summer, you had Jacob, and so on. All these kids were phenomenal kids. I mean, and they all came through. You all seem to come through around about the same time, and so the talent in the UK, I mean, you could mention there's loads of other kids. Obviously, if I was to sit here and mention all the kind of world champions, European champions, British champion kids, I'd need to do another show. So yeah, I mean, you guys all came through at the same time. A lot of you guys trained together as well. So obviously, do you still manage to get speaking to some of the kids, some of the kids that you did train with and?
So obviously Thiago was under Marco Cagna before he decided to split and make his own TF team. So I'm still very good friends with like Rodrigo, Brian, those kind of guys down there, real top class guys. My goal each year is to try and get down to their gym a couple times, spend a weekend there. Marco Cagna let me sleep on the mat another year, which was really kind of him. Didn't have to pay for a hotel, just sleep on the mats, let me stay at the gym, train there for free, which was really nice. Got a lot of good guys. Jay Sharp from like Fighters Hive, up
Jay as
Glasgow.
well,
Yeah, you've got Tyrese Conliffe. He's a great guy to compete and train with. As you said, Jacob, there's so many of these great guys that are coming through the same time as me. Great competition, always friendly on and off the mats. Niall Greenfield, Keegan Highway, all great guys. Talk like friends off the mats, compete as hard as they can, and learn off each other.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so, a lot of these kids, saying that, some of them are not kids anymore. But a lot of these guys, when they came through, I mean, I'd say the years of experience, as you said, 7, 8, 9 years of experience, and then going to be taking that into the adult division, where, as we mentioned, it could be somebody that's maybe only been training a year or two. So. Yeah, the future's bright for the UK BJJ scene. I mean, we're definitely going to see from your generation, and obviously Cody's generation, we're going to see world champions. We're going to see European champions and so on. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds. And definitely for you two as well. I mean, as I said, I know that obviously the hard work that you guys have put in over the years, certainly at junior levels, at obviously the kids divisions and things like that, to take that into the adult division. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. As I said, I'm hoping one of you, if not both of you, become a world champion, definitely an adult world champion. So it's going to be good to see. And then Diane, hopefully we'll get you on the mat as well. Hopefully we'll get you some competition gold as well.
Never say never, as I say. I'm sort of getting to think about it a wee bit more, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Keeping it fit, it's helping them. I'm not much of a challenge for them, but at least they've got a body to submit frequently. It helps me as well, because I learn off them.
Yeah, definitely. Then I know that they were talking about doing something new this year. So they said about questions. So there's like 5 separate questions. Now I'm going to look and see if I can find these. It's just like random questions about jiu-jitsu. So let's have a look and see. I know it was like things like, do you know what? They sent them, there we go. So thinking about the gym, okay, so obviously the TF team. So who is the worst dresser in the TF team?
I don't know about that, Cody. I've seen some of your outfits. Worst dresser. I don't know. I'd say maybe Ewan. I'd give Ewan I'd give poor Ewan maybe worst dress. Maybe Callum as well. One of the two of them.
Callum.
Yeah.
So I think you don't agree with that then, Cody, no?
No, both of them are really nice guys. They have good gis from two of the topless gi brands, Tammy and Valor.
Yeah. And you were pointing at Jevon as well. You were saying it was Jevon was the worst dresser.
I think I got some great outfits.
Colourful.
Fucking colourful one.
And then, who's the biggest joker in the gym?
Don't know about
Yeah.
that. Go on.
Well, I'm thinking that is actually probably.
I'll give him
Cody.
Cody. And then, who is the hardest in the gym?
Cody. I'm probably Rolandis. Maybe he's a tough guy.
Rolandis is a big bully. He's a big bully.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Judo black belt, jiu-jitsu brown belt. Real strong. Probably Kev McCulloch as well. The opposite end of the still a brown belt, but whereas Rolandis is sort of big and then really sort of strong, heavy, uses his body weight really well. Kev's a real sort of skinny like guy, wraps you up in all sorts of guards. Obviously Thiago as well, but if we're not counting Thiago, it's got to be those two.
Yeah, definitely. And then who's the most vain in the gym?
Vain means
I Tough
It's a
one.
tough one.
I don't know, maybe Ewan. You see him always fixing his hair.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Ewan again here, because you'll always see him fixing the hair after each round. He'll take a little gap and he'll be looking at himself on his phone, just trying to fix it.
Nice.
Whenever there's a picture getting taken, he's always looking in the mirror, getting the hair right.
Yeah,
So Ewan, definitely Ewan. And then who's the best dancer? So obviously, if you've ever been out then, so who's the best and who's the worst dancer at the TFT?
Bedrocks, because you were in Bedrocks with someone.
I'd probably give myself worst dancer. I think that's a fair title. I don't know. I'm best.
I might give Jaden Zoo the best. He's a pretty good dancer.
Jaden Zoo.
That'll do.
Jaden Zoo.
Nice. And then, so that's pretty much the questions. As I say, they wanted me to add these questions in, so just some fun questions, just to see who's the best and who's the worst in the gym at different things. Not jiu-jitsu, so we're not going to count jiu-jitsu. So, and then, so the kind of last thing for you guys. So Cody, we'll start with you then. So, anybody you want to thank for obviously the journey that you've been on, again, for being so young? I mean, you've had an extensive journey. So, anybody you want to thank for everything you've got to so far?
There's been a lot of people that have helped me through it. I've had Thiago who's trained me. I've had Jevon who's shown me positions. I've had all these big adults that have pushed me to my limits. I've had quite a lot of kids who have just tried to beat me and tried to give me a good challenge. I've also had Camilla, who's been keeping me up on my fitness.
Nice. And then what about yourself, Jevon?
Obviously I have to thank Thiago, coach. Got to thank the Rolandus, Kev, these top belt guys in our gym. Push me every day. Don't go 110% on me and never get a second breathing. Got to thank my training partners, Ewan and Callum. Completely different, but Ewan, big guy like Rolandus, and Callum, skinny like Kev. Great to get both ends of the spectrum on training. Never know who I'm going to go in and compete against. I've got to thank Kanya for letting me into his gym and helping me out. He's coached me sometimes when Thiago's been coaching someone else at competitions. I've got to thank my mum for trundling us up and down the country so many times.
Yeah. So Jevon, you thank mum. Cody, you didn't thank mum. So
yeah, I noticed that.
And then Diane, for you then. So anybody you want to thank? As I said again, I mean, you've been a spectator on the kids' journey for so long, and then obviously you're now starting your own journey as well. So yeah, anybody you want to thank?
I think as they were saying, Thiago is he's been very patient with somebody that sometimes can't even remember what our left and rights are, and as to how you're supposed to get in that position. Goodness alone knows, but he's really patient.
Yeah.
And the kids as well, and they both teach you in different ways. Cody will stop you and take you back. Jevon just lets you dig yourself your own hole, and once you're in the hole, he'll then go, "Ha, I got you." You learn in different ways with the two of them. But again, the higher belts in the gym, they're all teaching you the whole time. And like all the teammates, they're all great. They all have their benefits or their pointers that they can help you with. And Camilla's great with the fitness, and especially like during the lockdown, Camilla and Thiago with their Zoom classes, it's made, hopefully, when we get back into training, a lot easier because we will be a lot fitter. So yeah, it's just all of them, and well, welcome for being very patient, because I'm usually out. I can be out the house 4 nights a week these days, and if the competitions start running as well, that's the weekends as well. So he needs a big thank as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so yeah, I mean, as I said, I always loved coming down and seeing you guys. As I said, Thiago's got a really good setup down there. Obviously the TF team. So in regards to anybody that's looking to visit, or how did he get in contact with you guys at the TF team?
You can either sort of message Thiago or Camilla on Facebook. They're on the TF page. There's phone numbers, the text. or even you can message one of us. If you're not, if say you were nervous about messaging Thiago or Camilla, or if for some reason you haven't got a reply, just go through one of us or one of the other members of the gym that you know of. That's probably the best way to get through. We can then say to Thiago or Camilla, hey, this person wants to join.
Definitely. So obviously you can get in contact with Cody, Jevon and Diane, obviously through Facebook. Obviously, if you know them, you can certainly get in contact with them. The TF team is on both Facebook and Instagram. So I know that Thiago does a lot of videos and does a lot of stuff on Instagram. Obviously, he's got the Facebook page as well, so you can certainly get in contact with them. Obviously, a few other people I'd say to mention. That obviously the guys mentioned there, Rolandis. I mean, you can potentially, if you want to talk to Rolandis, I mean, nobody wants to talk to Rolandis, so they can talk to him if they want to. But yeah, Rolandis. You obviously mentioned Kev, you mentioned Ewan and things like that. So there's a lot of people down there that you can mention if you're going to be visiting. Obviously, once the lockdown's over, there's no point in sending messages at the moment and asking if they could come and train, because the answer's definitely no. Obviously, training comes for the members first, and then obviously visitors and stuff like that after it. So yeah, listen, it's been an absolute honour to speak to you three. As I said, I know that once all this kind of stuff's over, I definitely plan on getting down and seeing you guys again.
Thanks.
You guys put on great seminars. I mean, I'd say the couple of seminars I've been down to, I'd say the seminars were brilliant. You had Valmir Neto was down. You had Marco Cagna was down. I'm trying to remember the other one. I came to another one. Do you know, it'll come to me after I come off this about that.
We had Rico, didn't we?
We had
Rico Vieira.
We had Leon.
Yeah, Amancio.
Yeah.
A load of top names, black belts, been around.
Yeah, so definitely it's definitely great coming down. I mean, it's a great gym as well. I mean, that's the way the setup is. It's an absolutely fantastic gym. Very decent mat size as well. I mean, compared to some gyms, the mat size is very, very good. I remember coming down, and I think the first time I came down and I was rolling with Rolandis, and I remember saying, because I'm one of these guys where I'm like, I'll stand up with anybody. So I'm like, come on, let's stand up. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, come on. And I had no idea about Rolandis' black belt in judo. I just thought, he'd never taken me down. And then he kind of came in, and I'd went to try and take him down, and he just switched his hips and hip tossed me right over. And that was me. And I was thinking, man, this is brilliant. So yeah, one of my teammates, Thomas, had watched the roll between me and Rolandis, and he saw the hip throw, and Rolandis tried to do the same thing to him, but Thomas managed to grab his gi at the collar and then jump on his back and took his back. Do you know what I mean? So, and he said it would never have happened had I've not seen him try to do doing the same thing to you. So yeah, listen, it's always fantastic to come down and see you guys. So yeah, fingers crossed we can all get back together on the mats very soon.
Be good.
Yeah.
All right. But listen, guys, it's been an absolute honour. And yeah, listen, take care, and we'll speak to you soon.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.